Hi, I'm Kevin Hill, and as you can see, today we're going to do something very different. Today I've got a very large canvas. This is a 30 by 40 inch. We're going to be doing a custom painting, probably over the next several episodes. It should be a lot of fun. And of course, if you're enjoying this and you want to see more, be sure to leave a like and subscribe for more painting videos. All right, let's get started. Now, as you can see, I went ahead and tinted the canvas already. A little purple up here, a little more of a turquoise over here, really pretty. But you look at the amount of paint on the canvas, almost nothing. And then I took several minutes and I went ahead and sketched in with a lot of detail our buildings and our composition here. I didn't use the brush to do it, right? So you get nice crisp lines, that way it'd be a little easier to follow and make sure everything is in place. All right, so now I can drop this gold right over our purple. And of course, purple and gold complement each other very nicely. So the little bit that will mix, be just a little tiny bit, will really look nice. It'll kind of gray it down. You see, we get these little tones in there that are just nice. It's a way to make your painting slightly more nice, detailed, you know, a little more exciting. But we're gonna do it. There we go. All right, now as we go, we just sort of change the color slightly. You can get a little more red. I don't want a lot of red in this. There's supposed to be mostly gold in here, but I'm gonna toss just a little in and mix it in, just a little, not enough to go crazy, but I like that feeling of warmth up here. See that? Good, we're gonna have our sun right behind the clouds back there. I'm just gonna drift this across. Like I said, this is a custom painting. It's really a commissioned painting, and it's really exciting. This is set in the 1900s, and we're gonna do our best to replicate that time period. I'm not an expert on it, but I've been learning a lot, and it's very interesting. Now, using a beautiful orange color, I'm going to drop in our clouds. You see, I just kind of worked that soft color into my original background. And I think that really works. There's a lot of variation in color in there, which is important. You got to have that if you want your paintings to look detailed. But now let me show you look at my messy palette already. We just start, and we've already got a messy palette, but here's a nice soft orange color. And I'm just dropping it in pretty slowly. There's not much of this purple to mix, but even if it mixes, it would be just fine. It would just create a brown, which we're going to actually want in here. Just a little, not a lot of brown. You know, you don't want somebody to look at your cloud and say you put brown in it. But a little bit here and there is actually nice to help soften it and tone the colors a bit. All right. Good. So let's spend a few minutes on this. Well, actually, it's so large, it'll probably be a little more than a few minutes. Yeah, that looks good. Maybe just change the color slightly. Work a little cloud action right in here. Oh yeah. Now, once this dries, we're going to do a few things once it dries in the next few weeks. We're going to take these sun rays and drift them right down into the painting. It's going to be really cool. But again, I mean, you can do it. I've done it before wet. It's just way easier if you do it dry, and I want to go over my clouds with detail. I don't want to like skimp on the clouds just to do the sun rays over, which is normally what I would do. I'd tone the clouds back and I would just drift my sun rays right over this area and it would be fine, but we're not going to do it that way. Not today, but if you want to do clouds like that, that's perfectly wonderful. Yeah, that's gonna look good. Yeah. There we go. Stand back. You always want to step back, check your work, and then keep going. A little more red in here. As we drift away from the sun, you want it to get darker, and this red actually will mix with the purple to give us even prettier tones. And we'll go into our grays and make it nice and dark and stormy up there in a minute. But the storm is coming in from this side, so we're not going to do too many clouds over there. That's kind of more empty, just softness over there. Over here is where we're going to get kind of carried away with our clouds. Beautiful. Now I'm going to go ahead and just soften this area just a little. You don't need to soften it a lot. And of course, using our little blender brush. It's a great little brush for stuff like this. And this is probably going to be my cloud layer number 1. And then I'm going to float another cloud layer right over this. And this one's going to be thick, way down here like that. I think that'll give us some extra dimension in this area. You need layers. You don't want just one flat cloud. You want to have several layers of clouds, right? At least we do. There we go. That's cool. All right, right up here, maybe just a little more blending. I'm going to keep this blender brush kind of standing by, and I'm going to grab a slightly darker tone At this point, I'm just grabbing a bunch of random colors. I'm not really mixing anything too carefully yet. There we go. See that? Just a gray tone, because this gray tone has everything in it. It's kind of softer than just something that's just black. See that? And you can go as dark with it as you want, but it's got a lot of color in it, even though it's gray. All right, that's looking good. We can do just a touch to the blue side as well. Why not? Right out here on the edge. Oh yeah. Don't go crazy with that blue, because it'll end up just going kind of weird on you. But anyway, how about right down here? Yeah, right here. I'm going to sculpt in some of these clouds, and these, of course, you want to keep these soft at the bottom. There, right next to that little farmhouse. Oh, that's going to be a fun farmhouse to paint. I'm excited for that. We got to get done with the sky first, though. We got to get a lot of stuff done before we tackle that farmhouse, but it's going to be fun. There's the bottom of our cloud. This is this beautiful storm just rolling in. There. And then blend that upward. And you can have light and dark areas in your shadows. That's a good thing. You put it on really nice and rough like this, and then we just simply blend it. But right up here is the important part. Right here, I want to kind of leave my soft cloud intact. I want to just come in here and roll in a harsh cloud like this. Very stormy looking. Oh yeah. Connect it up right there. That looks good. See, just layers of clouds. Keep doing this over and over again until you get a nice little effect. Now we're going to go ahead and leave our sky alone for just a few minutes. We've got a lot more work to do, but that certainly gets it blocked in for us. We need to do some better highlighting and a little more refinement, but the colors, the tones, values are for the most part there, which is a good start. There we go. Let's go ahead and just get these little tiny rolling foothills underpainted. We certainly don't want much, but we do want to see a little. Okay, make sure we continue them through the house there. You don't want to make it look like you stopped and then started again. That wouldn't be a good. There we go. Obviously, we're going to lose a lot of our sketch when we do this, but we can always put the sketch right back in. So I'm not concerned. There. And I don't know if I mentioned it yet or not, but we're working in the gold tones. This whole painting is going to have a beautiful autumn feel to it, which is great. Plus the lighting just of the evening sky is also going to help with the gold tones, because whether or not it was fall, you would still have some amount of gold just from the sky. Very, very pretty. Cool. So you see we've got a nice composition there. We'll just sort of fill this in. We don't need a whole bunch. There, just, honestly, you can just, we can always kind of move these around if we need to. Super easy. Just mainly about getting this underpainted, getting the colors right. There's some dark now. So you always want the dark at the bottom, and you work it up into the light. Now I'm going to go ahead and just tap on a little bit of, well, just color, some yellow really. I'm just starting our basic trees here in the background. These are little cottonwood trees actually. And of course we're doing this in autumn time colors, so that's very pretty. Okay, good. See, I'm just starting with the lights and keeping these lights kind of around this house. You don't want them all to be this harsh, so I'm going to certainly, let me wipe off my brush a little, smudge some of this in. See that? You want blurry edges to go along with your sharp edges. And obviously this is just the light. We're going to put the dark in and the details, but this just gets us a little interest in the background. Maybe we don't want them all that color. I'm going to throw a little yellow ochre in, but we certainly want it all in the gold tones. Just different shades of it is all. That looks good. Maybe skip a spot. I don't know. Jump over here. Honestly, the background trees are just not the point here. So I'm going to do just a few. It's more of a compositional thing than anything else. There, and then of course this isn't even done. I'm trying to just build the color, and then we're going to come back because we're not going to do this as quick as normal. I'm going to really take my time. So I'm going to then come back and, add highlights, maybe next week, maybe in between episodes, who knows, so we'll be working on the clouds more in the background. You want to add some light, add some dark, just getting the basic colors on right now. Just establishing a feel to this painting. All right, so then when you get it that far, what I'm going to do is take a little bit just of darker color. Here we go, some black. Let me show you my palette. I don't even have all my colors out here yet. I should probably stop and get them out. Just a nice dark color. I'm going to work that right into my yellow. So that adds a nice shadowy base. You could do this first, you could do it second, doesn't matter, because this is just softened in the background. It just doesn't make any difference. Our light source, easy to see. No mistaking that light source. There we go. Yeah. All right, now, let me see. Where's my little detail brush? There we go. Detail round. And I'm just going to, oh, that's a little too dark, so I want to just tone it. There we go. Drop in what will kind of feel like a trunk or two back here, but honestly, they won't stand out much. And I've decided to take a break from doing these trees. Only spent a little while on them. And I'm going to drop a little more color here in the foreground. And I think what this will do is help to just balance out all the colors, just make it easier for me to see kind of where we're going. You'll notice that I defined a little bit of a path here. This is kind of my thought for the path. I don't know that that's where it'll end up being, but it's a good place to start. There we go. Oh, and I forgot to mention that it's actually very important. I can't take full credit for that. I can't take really any credit for this subject at all. My client had a very vivid picture that he wanted me to paint. He knew exactly what he wanted, which was really fun for me, because that's half the battle, is just figuring out what to paint, right? So he had a wonderful composition already made up, and so I'm doing my best to try to bring it to life. So that's more my job, is just bringing his ideas to life here, which is super fun. And thankfully, he was nice enough to let us film it too, so you guys can enjoy it. I was excited when he said I could. Very nice. So we'll definitely make a few episodes out of this one. Oh yeah, look at that. And I think we should start working on some of the browns. I got some umber right here, and I'm just going to start working on some of the darks. There, of course our light's kind of coming across. A little more of a cast shadow over here. And honestly, this is just the underpainting, but you know how I like to build a little bit of depth even in our underpainting. This is kind of a small brush for this, but I want a nice variation. I want it to look good before we even start our highlighting process. Now I'm going to go ahead and just drop in a little path back here. This will help connect the foreground with the background. It's something that I really enjoy doing in my paintings, little paths. There we go. And you'll notice that it was time that I stopped and just reset the palette, cleaned it, actually stopped and I wiped the whole thing off. Got it nice and clean. And sometimes when you're doing a large painting, you probably remember from some of the other large paintings we've done, I like to do that. It keeps things from getting muddy. You don't want that to happen. Now on this little barn back here, I'm just going to touch it very slightly. See that? I won't even make a path so much as just kind of touch it here and there to create a little bit of dirt showing through. Maybe it looks like a path, maybe it didn't. And that'll help that look further away, because this is a little further away. That's a little closer. Not by a lot, but certainly by some. There we go. And here, I'll figure this one out kind of as we go. We'll put the highlights around. Remember, this is still just the underpainting. We're really not that far along on the grass. So let me grab a slightly darker color now and just kind of get this little path underpainted here as well. I left it blank just so that way we wouldn't create too much mud, although I am going to take some of this brown because that works for dirt. And I'll just pull that right in to the path, and then our highlight will kind of be on the right more than anything else. Just a bit right in here. Yeah, it looks good. Just get this a little further along. They're slightly different painting style than we normally do. Just method, not so much style. Style's the same. Different painting method, just because I'm kind of going in such a way that I realize I'm not going to be done today. So I'm planning things a little different than I normally would. I would normally finish this path entirely before moving on to the next thing, but that's not my plan today. Now we're going to go ahead and drop on a little bit of silver lining to these clouds. I'm doing it with my soft detail round so that it layers right over top without any issue. Of course, this will be easier later as well, you know, next week when it dries up. It may not fully dry by next week, but I'm guessing most of it will. It's kind of hard to say. Sometimes paintings dry pretty quick, sometimes they take a long time, it just depends. So we will just have to be flexible. Really, the only thing we can't do while it's wet is drift the sun rays over all of this. Otherwise, we can pretty much do anything while it's wet, as you guys know. There, so now I'm going to wipe my brush out and use this very soft tip of the brush just to blend using small overlapping strokes. See that? And give this cloud a little more dimension than it had. Oh yeah, build in the layers. Layers create depth. Layers are a good thing. You want to do that as much as you can, of course. But look at how that just makes this whole painting come to life. Doesn't it make all the difference? As long as you keep that brush wiped out, you shouldn't have any mud. Helps that we cleaned off the palette. All that's good stuff. There, just blend it right down and away. Too much fun. A little bit right in here. Yes. All right, wipe the brush again and just blend it. It's a little bit slow going, but isn't it worth it? Now I'm going to mix up a nice soft yellow golden color, but a lot of white in it this time. And I'm going right over here. You can see I've already tested out a couple of colors, and I like this bright golden color best. So I'm going to put down a little and then wipe my brush out and then blend it back. Again, using our detail round brush. Yeah, there we go. And what this is going to do is go right over that house. Don't be painting around it like a, you know, like there's a stencil on there or something. You got to go right over it. See that? You have to go over it. There. And I'm saying that so that I remember. Yes, there we go. All right, then as we go down, skip a little spot. What this is going to do is just help further enhance. You see, I already did the same technique right there. Look at how that is brightening that up. And this is going to enhance the feeling of light toward the middle. That's very important. My client really wants light in the middle, so we're going to do it. Yes. And so, like I said, we're not going to get this done today at all. And we may not even do it next week. You know, we may take a break, do some other stuff, and then come back to it. And I may need to sit and look at it, you know, kind of let it dry out, see how the colors dry out and everything. Sometimes when stuff dries, the shine, you know, of the canvas, well, in fact, always the shine changes and things look a little different. You may need to darken or lighten an area. It's possible. There. That looks pretty good. I'm just developing that nice light in the middle, keeping some of those soft edges, very important, and you don't want this to be too far out. We'll use darker colors over there if we do anything at all. You don't want to attract too much attention to the background area anyway, but well, I wasn't planning to get to the grass today, but I'm having too much fun. I can't stop. So here you go. I'm painting grass. And of course, just tapping on a little bit of highlight, and as I tap it, I flick it down, and that gives me that soft feathered edge. That's what's so pretty about this. I love painting grass like this, so I got to say this is kind of exciting. And what's great is we get to develop the light in the middle, and then we use the same stroke over there, but it's a lot darker. So I'm not even bothering with that area yet. There, doesn't that look pretty? Gotta have fun. Oh yeah. Now how about right here? Just a little more. The canvas is a little wobbly, sorry. I can't even push it down because it's all wet. There we go. Cool. And I don't know if yeah, I did mention it, didn't I? This is a 30 by 40 inch painting. It's a really nice size if you're looking for something to kind of hang on a wall and really, you'll notice it in that space, you know, especially with colors like this. There we go. That looks good. Just let that work right down into our gold So you have a beautiful highlight of kind of a shimmery yellow, and you got your gold undertones. This is really getting nice. Of course, this isn't finished. Like I said, nothing really here is finished that I'm looking at. Maybe that little mountain in that little area, but not much is finished. Everything needs a little work, but that's exciting. Gives us something to do next time. Plus, we got to work on these buildings too. I probably won't even touch them today because I want to work on them while they're wet so I can get my color blends, and I wouldn't want to do it let it dry because then I wouldn't be able to blend my color the way I would want to. Nice. Darker as we go down. I'm going to pretty much lose all the light and just come into shadow here pretty soon. But even still, you want to establish these textures even in the shadows. Well, that's about as far as we're going to get on this painting today. We actually got further than I expected. Now next time we're going to work on the buildings and add a lot more highlight and detail to the entire painting. It should be really exciting. Also, don't forget to check out our website, DVDs, and brush line. Thanks for watching.